As we speak, NetherRealm is already working on their next big game, and it's very likely another Mortal Kombat game, because the 30th anniversary of the series is right around the corner. So with that in mind, today's video is about all the things that I never want to return in any future Mortal Kombat games, and fair warning, this video contains opinions. So if you disagree with my opinions, then please post your own in the comments down below, and I will be very happy to read them. The first part of this video is going to be what I don't want to return, and then after that we have an entire section for just the subscribers. That's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get started, here's a very quick word from today's sponsor. Want amazing deals on software like Windows and Microsoft Office? Well then Royal CD Keys has you covered. Their site offers a ton of deals on software for a very low price, which is a great alternative to pirating because when you pirate software you get the wrong updates or it runs too slow and isn't compatible with your device, all that annoying stuff, which is why Royal CD Keys is a much better option. Just don't forget to use my code TrueUnderdog for 10% off every purchase. Within minutes, Royal CD Keys emailed me the download link and the license key. Getting your hands on amazing software is easy and safe with Royal CD Keys, and I can't recommend them enough. Alright, so here are the things that I never want to return in any future Mortal Kombat games. Number one, we have the guns. Unless it's Stryker or Aaron Black, I'm not a big fan of the pew-pews. I don't want them to come back. Having a projectile that goes full screen instantly is already annoying enough, but then on top of that, it's just not very creative. Katana throwing her fans and Reptile spitting acid is far more creative in my honest opinion, and that's why I just don't want guns anymore. It feels really bland, and honestly, MK11 went way too overboard. I think more than 5 different characters used guns as their primary weapon, which not only gets repetitive, but it also has you asking why even add Stryker if everybody else already has his gimmick. It would be like if Marvel vs. Capcom 4 came out and you had Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales, just too many Spider characters. Spider-Man is an awesome character, but when you have 5 of him on the roster doing the same kind of attacks, it gets really boring and uncreative. So once again, I just don't want guns in the next game unless it's Stryker and maybe Aaron Black. And now for number 2, we have the variation system. Get rid of it. I understand the concept behind it, and I think for Mortal Kombat X it was done very well. Because let's say you're playing a character who has good rushdown but isn't that good at countering keep away. Well, they have a variation for just that. So if someone's constantly throwing stuff at you, you can pick a different variation and then counter that playstyle. I understand that's the main idea behind variations, and in Mortal Kombat X I thought it was a fun and fresh idea. However, in Mortal Kombat 11 it got a bit too muddied, and pretty much every character can now do every type of attack, which is great if you want to keep playing the same character over and over again, but I think the best thing about a fighting game is that if you want a new playstyle, then you have to experiment with a different character. In Mortal Kombat 9, I loved Rushdown, so Scarlet was a great pick for me, but then every now and then I wanted to play some keep away, which meant I had to switch and pick somebody else like Shang Tsung. And looking back on it, I prefer that a lot more than having one character who can do absolutely everything. You just have to build them. It's a fun concept, but I just don't prefer it. However, one more big issue with the variation system is it splits up your character's attacks, even if those attacks are classic and iconic from the earliest game. Just look at Raiden as an example. In Mortal Kombat X, you could not use his teleport outside of one variation, which meant if you wanted his classic moves, you had to pick that build. And it was the same case in Mortal Kombat 11. Raiden did not always have access to his teleport unless you gave it to him. And to a lot of fans, it's just annoying that you don't always have access to your character's classic moves, and I agree. And finally, for my third point, sometimes that new variation is so different from the existing character that there should just be a new character there instead. Instead of taking these creative and new attacks and shoving them into an existing character, just give them to an entirely new character instead. It'll make the roster bigger and encourage more player variety. And next up, let's talk about guest characters, because Mortal Kombat 11 had way too many and NetherRealm went a bit overboard. I'm not saying 1 or 2 guest characters is a bad thing. In fact, I love guest characters every now and then in moderation, but just like drinking alcohol, you can have way too many if you're not careful. And once again, 5 is too many in my honest opinion. Those could have been returning characters from classic games. Instead of RoboCop, we could have had Havoc. Instead of Rambo, we could have had Natara, and I think most fans would have been on board with that. Yes, I do understand that guest characters are great for getting new players to buy the game, especially the Complete Edition or the Aftermath Edition. I completely understand why guest characters exist 110%, but I am saying that as a fan base, most players do not want them over returning characters, which is why once again moderation is key. 1 guest character, fine. 2 guest characters, great. 3, you're kinda pushing it. And now finally, I think it's time to talk about Breakaway. Pretty much every new player wants this new mechanic to go away and become extinct just like the dinosaurs. Just in case you don't play the games, Breakaway was a new version of Combo Breaker where you fall out of the combo and the opponent keeps attacking, which means you can get up and actually punish them. And even after the very first beta, most players did not like this. Even pro players like Sonic Fox Fox were like, no, I'm not liking this, get rid of it. I should not be punished for landing the combo. I won't go into too much detail about why Breakaway sucks because I've already made an entire 10-minute video on just that topic specifically. So if you want to learn more about Breakaway and why it's awful, then please check out this video right here. And how about the meter refilling on its own? I feel like that's one more new mechanic that most players do not like. And once again, I understand why NetherRealm chose to do this. I think it was a fun concept to try out, but at the end of the day, most fans just didn't like it. And I think that's mainly because it did favor certain playstyles over others. If you loved playing Keep Away, then refilling meter was great for you. You just throw stuff all day and you constantly get meter for just standing there. However, if you're a player like me who loves long and damaging and exciting combos, then the refilling meter wasn't that great because you do one combo and then you're just stuck there having to wait. And there's no way to make the meter fill any faster. You can't force the opponent to block or get hit. Nothing refills your meter any quicker, so you're just stuck there waiting, which once again could be great for certain playstyles like Keep Away characters, but not every character benefited from the regenerating meter. And at the end of the day, there's never going to be a meter system that's perfect. It's always going to favor some characters over others, but I think having the meter fill on its own just felt too much like a mobile game. And now for my final point, I'm going to get a bit personal. I don't want very much Keep Away in the next Mortal Kombat game. If done correctly, a Keep Away character can actually be fun and exciting to watch, believe it or not, but the issue is NetherRealm's never been very good at doing that. Instead, their Keep Away characters tend to be very similar. They have a bunch of projectiles, they prefer to be at full screen, and just run away constantly and throw things at you. And I'm not saying that playstyle isn't fun for some people, but I am saying it's very, very boring to watch. Even at the highest level of play, watching a Keep Away character just isn't fun, and it's also not fun to fight against them. And as a result, I think the Keep Away should be limited a lot more in the next Mortal Kombat game. You should still have it in there, for sure, absolutely. 2 or 3 Keep Away characters, that's completely fine. Just please, oh please, don't give me another Injustice 2 where the best characters are all Keep Away characters and that one Keep Away character is constantly winning grand finals. Once again, Keep Away as a playstyle is completely fine, but at the end of the day, if not made correctly, it's very, very boring to watch and also very frustrating to play against. It's just not fun for most people involved. And now finally, it's time for the subscribers, and I'm the most excited about this part. First up, we have stop changing the inputs for existing moves. Why is Scorpion's chain different in every single game? Why is Sub-Zero's ice ball input different in every single game? Believe it or not, this never happens for other fighting games. Ryu's fireball has always been down forward punch. His Tatsu has always been down back kick. And that's true for most fighting games. If the character has the same move in the next game, then the input is the same, but not for NetherRealm games. For whatever reason, they keep changing the inputs every single time, even if that move has been in every single game. Once again, Sub-Zero's ice ball, the input is always different for no reason at all. I'm not saying the properties can't change, that's completely fine, but for Pete's sake, keep the input the same, NetherRealm. And now it's time to talk about AI battles, that mode that everybody forgot existed or never touched at all, myself included. AI battles was brand new to Mortal Kombat 11 and I wanted to go away forever. It was okay to try it, but pretty much nobody liked it. 99% of players wanted to go away and never come back. And many subscribers were also saying to get rid of the crushing blows and also the fatal blows, and I understand why. For me personally, I don't mind the fatal blows, I just want there to be a screen freeze before they activate. However, when it comes to the crushing blows, they do slow down the gameplay way too much, and you're also seeing the same ones over and over and over again. I think it's very possible the crushing blows will come back in the next Mortal Kombat game. However, I do hope they're much faster, and I also hope we see a lot more variety. Once again, for some characters, all you saw was like the uppercut or the throw crushing blow over and over again, or the counter hit crushing blow over and over again. There definitely does need to be more variety with the crushing blows and also make them faster because you see them all the time, so it sucks that much more when they're slow. And this next one's a doozy, and I'm going to be very careful when covering it, but a lot of players want the politics to go away. At the end of the day, Mortal Kombat is a game where characters beat each other to death as violently as possible and then kill them in the most painful ways possible. So when the developers try to add a political message to a game like that, it either feels like it's lacking in self-awareness, like big time, or even worse, it feels like they're making fun of that progressive concept by putting it into a game where you're just constantly trying to kill each other in the goriest way imaginable. Not to mention, if not handled properly, then having politics in your game can divide the fan base, like straight up split it down the middle, and there's no reason to do that in a game where we just punch each other. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that Mortal Kombat can't have any messages at all. It can have messages about family and protecting your loved ones, or about getting revenge and killing someone in the most satisfying way possible. It can have betrayal and redemption, all that cool stuff, but when you get political, especially with modern events, it feels really weird and out of place. And that's not just my opinion. Once again, and tons of people were saying this in the comments both on YouTube and on Twitter. They just don't want biased politics in a Mortal Kombat game. Once again, it feels very out of place, it's lacking in self-awareness, and it can also give the opposite result of what you want. It can make your otherwise progressive ideas feel like a joke, because why are you putting them into a game where I kill somebody as violently as possible and then pee on their corpse? Alright everyone, that's about it for the video. Things that players and myself never want to return in future Mortal Kombat games. Once again, make your thoughts heard in the comments down below and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.